On March 2, the numbers told a story the music industry could not ignore. More than 20 million streams in a single day. A double-digit surge when most albums start to cool. And once again, the name at the center of it all was Bruno Mars. In an era dominated by viral trends and fleeting hits, Bruno Mars has delivered something increasingly rare: sustained momentum. His latest album, The Romantic, pulled in 20,239,618 unfiltered Spotify streams on March 2 alone, marking a 14.22% increase from the previous day, and pushing the project's cumulative total to 269,381,776 streams. The achievement is not just a statistical milestone. It is a statement. Bruno Mars is not riding nostalgia. He is actively shaping the present. For casual listeners, the headline is simple: Bruno Mars is winning again. For industry insiders, the implications are deeper. Sustained daily growth at this level signals more than fan loyalty, it signals cultural relevance. To understand why this moment matters, it helps to step back. Born Peter Gene Hernandez in Honolulu, Hawaii, Bruno Mars grew up in a musical family steeped in doo-wop, rock, reggae, and classic soul. As a child performer in his family's band, he learned discipline before he learned stardom. That foundation became the backbone of a career defined by precision. From early songwriting credits to breakout hits like Just the Way You Are, Mars quickly distinguished himself as more than a singer. He was a craftsman. Albums such as Doo-Wops and Hooligans and Unorthodox Jukebox introduced him as a hitmaker. Then came 24K Magic, a project that blended funk revivalism with contemporary pop and earned multiple Grammy Awards. His Super Bowl halftime performances cemented his reputation as one of the most reliable live entertainers of his generation. In an industry that often rewards immediacy over longevity, Bruno Mars built something sturdier: trust. That trust is paying dividends in 2026. The Romantic arrives nearly a decade after 24K Magic. In streaming terms, that gap could have been fatal. Audiences move on quickly. Algorithms favor constant output, but instead of flooding the market, Bruno Mars waited, he refined, he recalibrated. The results are evident in the streaming breakdown. Risk It All led daily plays on March 2 with 5.6 million streams, surging more than 23% overnight. I Just Might, already nearing 200 million total streams, continues to show staying power. Even deeper cuts are climbing steadily. There are no obvious weak links in the tracklist's daily performance. That consistency is rare. Music analyst and streaming strategist Carla Monroe describes the surge as a second-wave effect. She explains, "You expect a spike on release day. What's more impressive is growth after that. A 14% increase at this scale means listeners aren't just sampling, they're replaying, they're sharing." Replays matter. In the streaming era, longevity is the new platinum. Behind the polished vocals and retro-inspired aesthetics lies a meticulous production philosophy. Bruno Mars is known for his hands-on involvement in arrangement, instrumentation, and vocal layering. Studio collaborators often describe marathon sessions where every snare hit and background harmony is dissected. A veteran engineer who has worked with Mars, speaking on condition of anonymity, once noted, "He'll redo a take 10 times if it doesn't feel honest. Not perfect, honest." That insistence on authenticity may explain why his music cuts across generations. Parents recognize echoes of classic. Younger listeners hear contemporary rhythm and sleek hooks. The fusion feels deliberate, not derivative. Culturally, the impact is measurable. At a time when American pop frequently leans into minimalism and subdued production, The Romantic embraces lush instrumentation. Horn sections, live drums, rich harmonies, the album feels expansive in a digital age often defined by compressed sound. Critics have pointed out that this approach challenges prevailing industry norms. Rolling Stone contributor David Hale recently remarked, "Bruno Mars doesn't chase trends, he reframes them. He reminds the industry that musicianship still sells." That perspective underscores a broader shift. While viral hits dominate short-form platforms, artists who invest in craft are regaining commercial ground. The album's streaming trajectory also highlights a strategic understanding of modern distribution. Placement on major playlists certainly helps, but sustained growth suggests something beyond algorithmic exposure. Social media clips featuring choreography from Risk It All have circulated widely. Dance challenges have surfaced organically. Unlike heavily engineered marketing campaigns, these moments appear fan-driven. There is also the live factor. Bruno Mars has built his brand on performance excellence. Rumors of an upcoming tour have fueled additional interest in the album. Even without official dates announced, anticipation alone can drive streaming behavior as fans revisit catalog material. Industry veteran and tour promoter Marcus Ellison observes, "When Bruno announces a tour, it's an event. People don't just buy tickets, they prepare, they stream the songs, they relive the catalog." In that sense, streaming spikes can signal more than digital engagement. They can foreshadow arena demand. Yet numbers alone do not capture the full picture. Bruno Mars has navigated fame with unusual discretion. Unlike many contemporaries, he maintains a relatively private personal life. There are no constant headline-grabbing controversies, no public feuds dominating timelines. His narrative centers almost exclusively on music. That restraint may contribute to his staying power. Audiences focus on the art because little else competes for attention. Still, the path has not been without challenges. The pressure of following a Grammy-dominant era like 24K Magic could have paralyzed creativity. Expectations can be suffocating. In interviews over the years, Mars has acknowledged the weight of that pressure. He has spoken about the need to disappear temporarily in order to rediscover inspiration. That disappearance now reads as strategic patience. From an industry perspective, the romantic reinforces a critical lesson. Catalog strength amplifies new releases. As listeners stream the latest tracks, they often revisit older hits. This halo effect boosts overall artist performance metrics. In practical terms, Bruno Mars' legacy fuels his present success, and his present success revitalizes his legacy. Culturally, his influence extends beyond charts. Fashion trends inspired by his retro flair continue to circulate. Live bands cite him as proof that instrumental proficiency still resonates with mass audiences. Younger artists borrow elements of funk and soul revivalism that he helped reintroduce to mainstream radio. Music historian Angela Brooks frames it succinctly. Bruno Mars normalized nostalgia for a new generation. He made it cool to appreciate musical history without sounding dated. As streaming totals climb past 269 million for the romantic, the conversation shifts from comeback to consolidation. This is not merely a return, it is reinforcement of a position he never fully surrendered. For American audiences watching this unfold, the narrative feels both familiar and surprising. Familiar because excellence is expected. Surprising because the industry landscape has changed so dramatically since his last solo release. Platforms evolve, consumption habits shift, attention spans shrink, yet Bruno Mars adapts without abandoning identity. The March 2 milestone will likely be remembered as more than a single-day achievement. It marks a validation point, growth after release, engagement beyond curiosity, commitment beyond hype. Looking forward, the implications are significant. If current trends continue, the romantic could cross major streaming thresholds within weeks. Award season conversations may follow. Tour announcements could transform digital momentum into sold-out venues across the United States. But perhaps the more enduring impact lies in what this moment represents. In a business often driven by immediacy, Bruno Mars demonstrates the power of patience. In a culture quick to move on, he proves that consistency builds loyalty. And in an industry frequently obsessed with reinvention for its own sake, he shows that evolution does not require abandoning core identity. As the music world watches the streaming counters climb, one truth becomes increasingly clear. Bruno Mars is not simply benefiting from the system, he is mastering it. The future of his career will likely include more milestones, more records, more accolades, yet the deeper legacy may be quieter. A reminder that craftsmanship matters, that live instrumentation can coexist with digital dominance. That charisma, when paired with discipline, creates durability. On March 2, the numbers surged, but behind those numbers stands a career built on intention. If the trajectory of the romantic is any indication, the next chapter of Bruno Mars is not about reclaiming a throne. It is about redefining what long-term success looks like in modern American pop music. And if history is any guide, he is only getting started.